What's up, guys? Episode 63 of Undrafted Amateurs. Exciting stuff happening in the NFL world right now. A lot of trades, a lot of free agent signings. We'll get into all of that. And we're bringing back Florida Man Challenge. So stay tuned.
One Debo Senior right after I just got Debo number 19 jersey. It's wild.
Yeah,
I mean,
dude.
I'm kind of fired
You have
up.
the
that he's back to
vintage
one.
jersey now.
I know, it's kind of sick, right?
Yeah, that's back to his college number.
Right there.
That's cool.
Back to those
No
days.
more. Did he change his Instagram handle from 19 problems to
Yeah,
one
so
problems?
it's one Debo Senior. No, I know 19 problems was pretty sick.
19 problems is cool.
So
Wish it was 99 problems.
it was wild because I saw
1-8.
him on Kay Adams on Tuesday, and he was like saying, or because she asked about him, and he's like, nah, I just changed it because I'm a dad now. And then like a day later, he has his Instagram post, so he drops it, which looks pretty fire, by the way. I'm a fan of it.
Yeah.
Just had
Yeah, it
to
looks good.
Had to mention that.
What lately has been going on in your life that is a little ridiculous and is kind of amateur-like?
Yeah, the one for me this week is I am the only adult I've ever met without kids to get strep throat. It sucks.
It's okay. I see a decent amount of strep throat in adults in clinic. Most of them work in daycares.
I was about to say, or the other ones have kids at home.
Right.
I'm pretty sure I've
yeah.
avoided it my entire life until now.
Jeez. How fun is it? Let us know.
It was brutal.
Did you have like really swollen tonsils and like the white patches and stuff?
Yeah, so I always get the swollen tonsils almost anytime I get sick. So that started happening. I didn't think anything of it. In fact, I've just been, well, Caitlin lovingly likes to remind me that my voice just sits at like the pitch of room noise. So anytime we're in a crowded space at all, I just have to shout to be heard. Mm-hmm. And so we were at a show here in town on Saturday, and I'd been shouting the whole time, and I left my tonsils were like a little bit swollen. And I was like, it must be that. And I went to bed Saturday night and woke up maybe an hour later and just felt miserable.
If
That night felt like 3 days long. But then I got on meds and I'm slightly better. Got some of the greatest medicine of all time, the sun today, which is why I'm in this shirt, because bringing it to the pod.
Sunny D, let's go.
Sunny D, RX.
Sunny vitamin D. That's
What?
big time. Dude, that is like the 6th time you've got sick this
I know, dude.
winter.
I feel like I was feeling so good earlier Saturday morning. Finally felt like I kicked whatever I had before. Was feeling great. Taking my vitamins like people suggested.
Yeah.
Boom. Another one.
Hey, man, we got to get you back right for summer.
I don't know.
Got to.
Got to. How am I going to get right for summer if I keep getting sick too? I'm going to be a tubby summer boy.
It's so tough working out in that little stage when you're getting over being sick.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to push through it, I think.
Yeah.
Not fun, man. Sorry
Not
about
fun
that.
at all. What about you? What you been up to?
I have had a couple amateur hours or amateur moments over the last week. So one happened this afternoon at work. So you remember me telling you about the protein shake that I opened and shook everywhere?
Yeah.
Well, today I did it with a water bottle.
I thought you were going to say like a medicine, like a vaccine.
No. It was this water bottle, actually, this Yeti bottle. And I had creatine in it, and I was trying to shake it up and just, mix it with the water well. And I didn't screw the cap on all the way. And so water just flew all over my lap right before I went in to go see a patient. So that was good. So I just walked in with water on my lap. Looked like I had an accident on myself, which was always
Alan
good to see.
TT'd himself.
Always good to see your medical provider with water all over their pants. The other one is probably way stupider. So the other night, it was late, and I just was trying to make something fast for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't had a hamburger helper in years, probably. Saw it. It was on sale at the store, and I was like, you know what? Hamburger helper it is. Let's go.
Like that.
So I'm cooking it, trying to be quick. I'm just Yankee. I put it in a pan, and I didn't have the right size lid for the pan.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just focused on you cook up the meat first, and you put in water and milk and butter. And I'm just focused on trying to get the lid on. And so I'm scooping it all up, trying to put the lid over it. And so I cook it, and everything's going okay with that. And I start thinking this is just more liquidy than it should be. It looks like soup. And so I get done with the amount of time it's supposed to cook for. And I'm like, something is wrong here. I don't understand what's going on. I grabbed the box to look at it. I never even opened up the box of Hamburger Helper. I didn't add the pasta to it. I was so focused on cooking it with a janky pan and making sure everything was like in order that I didn't even add the stuff.
No pasta.
So it was just water, milk, and ground beef.
That's honestly worse, but less destructive than I had to been like 5, 6 years old. No, I was older. I was like 7 or 8. And I was trying to make mac and cheese myself. You know how you can do it in the microwave. You like put it in. We had like a plastic pot that goes in the microwave at the time. And I really thought the directions said you put it in for 3.5 minutes and then you add water. And then you put it back in. That's obviously not the way that it goes. The water is supposed to go in it first.
Right.
So I put in dry pasta in the microwave for 3.5 minutes.
What happens?
Just all turns black. The pot starts melting and like smokes up the whole house.
That sounds about right.
That was more destructive, but also equally dumb.
Yeah, this was bad.
And I was like 7 or 8.
I didn't even catch it until I lifted the box to read the directions again. I was like, did I not leave it on long enough? This box is heavy. Oh, there's the entire thing of pasta.
Had you already thrown it away, or was it still like on the counter to read the
No, it was still on the counter, luckily. So I just added it in, and the meat was pretty tough because I cooked it twice over. So,
hey, it wasn't raw.
Right, yeah, it was cooked through. Well done, for sure.
Dude, that's hilarious. Well, what else is hilarious? We're bringing Florida Man back. I'm super pumped for it. Iceman, unfortunately, is in the midst of budget season at work, politics and budget. That just sounds super fun. So feel for him. But in lieu of the unsung hero this week, we got a Florida Man. They're about the same.
It's about the same. Very similar. Excited for Florida Man to come back. This is the first one I get to do.
And we got a Florida Man doing it, presenting
Let's go. It's big time. I might have seen some of these people. I hope I don't like repeat any of these by accident because I was listening to the pod, but I mean, I wasn't doing the Florida Man challenges. So if I do, I'm sorry, you'll have a leg up and you should get it right.
Better.
So here we go. Number one, I'm going to read the headline first and then kind of dive in a little bit.
Okay.
A Florida man was arrested after he allegedly called the police to verify the authenticity of his methamphetamine. Thomas Kolke called 911 and asked them to dispatch an officer as he believed that the meth he used felt like bath salts rather than meth. He went on to tell the deputies that he was an experienced drug user and said he knew what it should feel like, and this doesn't feel right. Kolke handed 2 small bags containing a crystal-like substance to the officers and asked for the substance to be tested. The officers tested the substance, and it was in fact found to be methamphetamine, and Kolke was taken into custody for possession. He cited his reasoning behind calling the police as, "I didn't want the wrong drug to get out on the street." All right, number 2. A Florida man was arrested after he allegedly called the police to report stolen drugs. Thomas Kolke called 911 with a report of a robbery, and when deputies arrived, he explained that it was a drug deal gone wrong. Upon further investigation, it was determined that Kolke was attempting to sell methamphetamine, but the buyer did not pay him the agreed upon amount. Kolke was then found to have methamphetamine on his person and was charged with intent to distribute. Police are still searching for the stolen narcotics.
Ooh, those are some good stories. I missed
What we
this.
got?
Ooh, I missed this. I mean, it could go either way. They both wouldn't surprise me. I'm going to go, I think story number 2 is true because 1, in my mind, if he's such an experienced drug user, I think he would know the difference. And if it was the right substance, but I'm just throwing that out there. So I'm going number 2 is true. He called himself because he got the wrong price.
Number 1 is true.
Number 1.
Number 1, he called the cops to confirm that it was not the right substance.
To confirm it was meth and not bath salts.
He called him because he thought it was bath salts. So he thought he was getting gypped. He was like, and it said his reasoning was he didn't want a bad, dangerous drug to get on the streets. Like, bro, it's meth.
That's what confused me. Well, there's 2 parts of each one that confused me, but I'm like, I should know by now that being confusing shouldn't make it not. And honestly, that should be like, that's why it's a Florida man story.
Right, exactly.
But in that first one, he didn't want bath salts instead of meth to get on the street. And on
Yeah,
the
he was
other
worried
one-
about people getting into bath salts.
Yeah.
He was just trying to be a good citizen, just watch out for the people.
Dude, why are we arresting these people? Police should have let them go. Give them a Medal of Honor.
Right. I almost made this story the number 2 that he said somebody stole it, and then they found the guy that stole a bag, and then when they got the meth out of it, he asked for the meth back. But that's a lot.
Oh, dude, I missed this. All right.
Yeah, we'll have to get a streak going with these. These are fun.
Should I do it next week then, or you?
Yeah, you can do it. We can flip flop back and forth.
We'll flip flop back and forth. All right, let's hit it. The 2-minute drill. A lot have been happening. A lot free agency, but we'll save that. So before we get into really any football at all, start the clock.
South Carolina beat LSU on Sunday in an SEC title game, marred or improved by mass ejections. For the second straight year, the Gamecocks, who were 32-0, will enter the NCAA tournament as the nation's only undefeated team for men or women.
Yeah, that was wild. Also in basketball news, Luka Doncic put up 39 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists on Saturday for his record-setting 6th consecutive 30-point triple-double, which is crazy. But unfortunately, his streak came to an end on Monday against the Bulls as he had only 27 points with 14 assists and 12 rebounds. Almost got a 7th one. That's crazy.
Only 27. In an exciting matchup, Liverpool and Man City played to a 1-1 draw on Sunday, leaving Arsenal at the top of the standings.
That's for all the football people out there in the world. For UFC news, at UFC 299, Sean O'Malley defended his title, and Dustin Poirier had a nice knockout late in the second round to improve to 38-0. 38-0.
Deion Sanders' first season at Colorado coincided with a 20% increase in student applications. That's good. Good bit.
That's a nice boost. And Aaron Rodgers might be Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s running mate as VP in these upcoming elections, which could be an interesting wrench into the whole Jet situation since he's currently owed $35 million guaranteed. And to add to it, the Jets owner, Woody Johnson, is a Trump supporter and donor.
Monday night, Novak Djokovic was stunned by Luka Nargi in the third round at Indian Wells.
Boom.
Novak took a big loss there. Tough.
Had to cover some tennis for JP. Clock it. I feel like we're starting to cover more stuff with these 2-minute drills. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, a little branching out into some different sports.
Trying to be well-rounded humans.
Not even only sports. We got academics in there with Dion.
And America.
And America.
America.
Dude, Aaron Rodgers as a vice president is wild. A wild thought.
Such absurd.
Everybody gets ayahuasca.
Yeah, ayahuasca handouts.
Yeah,
ayahuasca stimulus checks.
We actually are going to do that at health department now. Ayahuasca health department meetings.
Before every budget meeting, everyone goes finds themselves on an ayahuasca trip and then comes
just
back.
Violently pukes everywhere. Have you watched any of those before?
I haven't watched them, but I'm kind of fascinated.
Dude, apparently you just get violently ill a lot of times.
Dang.
I don't think it happens every time. I'm not going to speak on it. Sorry, Aaron.
What do you even know
I've seen
about
people just get violently ill on those.
Since we were talking about politics in America and Aaron Rodgers and all those things, and across the pond, the England that we all love so much.
The England.
Apparently there's some drama with Kate Middleton. This is all secondhand knowledge to me. But I guess she was last seen publicly on Christmas, then had surgery in January or something. And then there's, I guess, a Mother's Day photo, which was that March? When is Mother's Day?
Mother's Day's in May.
So do they have a different Mother's Day across the pond? I don't know they called it the Mother's Day photo for whatever that means. In March which is the month we're in right now.
Did you wish your mom a happy
I got
English
really
Mother's
nervous.
Day?
I was like, I did not say Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, no, it's
pretty
not
sure
here
it's
just
the
yet.
summer. But they like the Kensington Palace X or Twitter or whatever released a photo of her and her 3 kids. And apparently it looked to be very edited and photoshopped and stuff. So much so that AP was like, stop posting this. You can't post it with journalistic integrity. And some people were like, I don't know, did she disappear? What's going on with that? And I think she might have made a statement saying that she was just playing around with editing it, or who knows what's happening. But Kate Middleton also might be missing and abducted by aliens.
Hmm.
Mm.
Sounds like, yeah. Dude,
What's
AI
crazier,
stuff?
that or Aaron Rodgers being a vice president?
Probably Aaron Rodgers being vice president, dude. Oh, yeah. What I was gonna say is that kind of worries me with like AI stuff in the future. It's
Like how
getting,
good it's going to get.
I mean, it's not. It's pretty decent now. Like, there's some tricky stuff on there. Like, if you have like a real photo and you can just modify it a little bit, like you can
It
make
is true.
some kind of sketchy stuff.
But then
But
again, Photoshop's already been so good for a while that people that knew how to use it, I think it's going to be a while before AI gets that good with
yeah,
it. And
hope so.
so, but then again, it's like, well, if everyone can have AI, and it's like you're inundated with thousands of Photoshop images. So,
Yeah, you
who
see
knows?
stuff all the time, and it eventually becomes like what's just really edited and what's like straight up fake.
I wonder if they're just going to have embed somehow that shows it's AI. Like even on TikTok, if you use their voice machine to the voice machine, that's not an old person. When you like do the text and they like speak or text to speak,
Yeah.
and it'll like say manipulated by AI or something like that. So who knows?
Fun stuff ahead. Last thing on the 2 minute drill, the South Carolina LSU game was ridiculous.
Ridiculously awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. Both teams finished with like 5 players.
Yeah. It was, how many people got ejected again? Or I guess whatever.
Both of the benches on both sides, I think the entire benches got ejected, which is wild. And then the LSU girl's brother jumped from the
That was what was
stands.
wild.
Yeah, that was crazy. He left in handcuffs, probably rightfully so. Like you can't just jump on and
That
try
adds
to
up.
fight some women.
That's crazy.
Yeah, wild stuff.
Wild stuff.
Fun
All
stuff. Go Cox.
Speaking of wild stuff, go Cox. Should we do NFL free agency? Because it's been crazier than I remember in past years. I don't know if like the cap is getting balanced out more and contracts are going up, but it seems like mayhem out there in a very fun way, but crazy.
It does seem absolutely crazy, which is good because we have more to talk about. So we'll jump right into the quarterbacks. We got Russell Wilson to the Steelers. Actually, that's the one I called on our quarterback episode. So happy about that. We got Kirk Cousins to the Falcons, Gardner Minshew to the Raiders, Mac Jones to the Jags in a trade where the Patriots get a 6th-round pick. Baker Mayfield to the Bucks, or staying with the Bucks.
He got
Marcus
paid.
Mariota, got paid. Good for Baker. Marcus Mariota to the Commanders. Jameis Winston to the Browns. Jacoby Brissett to the Patriots. Sam Darnold to the Vikings. And Mason Rudolph to the Titans. I came up with the Russell Wilson win off the rip.
Off the dome. Dude, that
Off
one
the
is hilarious
dome,
to me
dude.
because he's on a vet minimum deal. He's getting paid like $1.5 million by the Steelers and $38 million by the Broncos, who we're going to talk about this more. But the Broncos are rivaling the Carolina Panthers in my mind for just worst run franchises.
Yeah, they're not doing super hot at the moment.
So that stands out. I think Gardner Minshew as a Raider is going to be amazing. I think he fits vibe-wise.
He looks like he fits in with the Raiders vibe more than Russell Wilson does, like where you want him to go.
And there's the funny clip of when he's playing against the Raiders and he's talking about Max Crosby. He's like, oh, he's mean.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that one. That's funny.
Any thoughts for you before we go to running backs?
Happy for Baker.
Yeah, 3-year, $100 million, $50 million guaranteed. It's a nice contract.
Pretty solid. Big sign. I'm happy he's staying there. We also need to talk about how the Browns just let him go and then they had to go pay Deshaun Watson all this money.
And how they're going to have a hilarious quarterback room.
Yeah,
With Jameis Winston.
Jamison and
Deshaun.
Deshaun. They played against each other in college.
Yeah, and then Jacoby Brissett to the Patriots. That's interesting because they got rid of, I didn't put it on here, but Zappy's gone too.
I'm also interested to see what happens with the Jags with Mac Jones. Can Mac Jones challenge Trevor Lawrence?
Good. The Patriots get a 6th-round pick in exchange for it, so it's a pretty good deal both ways. Kirk Cousins in Atlanta. I think that's going to be really good, though.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think he can actually use the weapons down there in a wide open NFC South. They could be dangerous.
A lot of weapons down there. Falcons are probably looking at a good year next year with Kirk. That was a great move by them.
Sam Darnold for the Vikings, that could also be decent. He looked a lot better last year, even as a backup, just like preseason at the end when he came in, a couple times coming throughout the season. Maybe he's
Yeah.
improved.
I just think going from Kirk to Sam Darnold,
Oh, it's major downgrade.
yeah. I don't know what the Vikings what's in the mix for them there. I don't know why they didn't try to sign. Maybe they did try harder to sign Kirk, but I don't know.
Competing with free agency dollars there, because his contract also he got paid 4 year, 180 million, 100 million guaranteed, which is crazy. People are talking about it, and rightfully so. The Falcons could have had Lamar Jackson for a tiny bit more than that contract, not much more, and they were one of all the other teams that just didn't want to go after Lamar, which is crazy.
It is crazy.
So running backs, this one's fascinating to me because there are some big names moving around. The king, of course, Derrick Henry is going to Baltimore, which is frightening because your dream team is becoming a reality. Then Tony Pollard to the Titans. Saquon Barkley staying in division going to the Eagles. DeAndre Swift is leaving the Eagles and going to the Bears. Josh Jacobs going to the Packers, where Aaron Jones is leaving, going to the Vikings. Austin Eckler is going to the Commanders, and Joe Mixon was released at first, and then they came back and said that he's getting traded to the Texans.
Man, Henry at the Ravens is dangerous. That running game, you got Lamar, Henry, and they still have Gus Edwards, right?
I think
He
so.
hasn't gone anywhere.
I think they might still be in contract negotiation, but
I mean, even if they don't have him, just Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry is scary. They need to get Christian McCaffrey too, so my dream team will come true.
that'd be terrible. Terrible.
Yeah, don't want that. Saquon at the Eagles, I think, is also super intriguing. Tush push. Did you see how much that dude can squat?
Yeah, I saw a side by side of him squatting with Jalen Hurts squatting at Oklahoma. If only Jason Kelsey was still there, that would be. Did you see Tiki Barber's reaction though? He was so mad at him for going.
Really?
Yeah, he was. I don't remember exact words, but something like along the lines of like "You're dead to me."
Tiki Barber?
Yeah,
That's ridiculous. Go get the money, Saquon. New York hasn't done him really any favors, so.
yeah. It's not like they. I mean, I don't know. There's three sides to every story, but it seemed like they could have put in a little bit more effort. I don't even know what they offered him. They took forever to offer him a second contract in general, if they even did.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like New York is a prime spot for a running back at the moment either.
No.
Any player, so.
The Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones one's interesting to me too. Aaron Jones is a few years older. I think he's 29. So I guess that kind of makes sense moving on from him. I didn't think the Raiders were going to let Josh Jacobs go. That's what surprised me the most.
I think that was kind of a mistake.
I did too.
He was a beast for them.
Mm-hmm.
But on the Packers, hey, that's going to be scary there.
Austin Eckler just signed a 2-year, $11 million deal with the Commanders, which is, I mean, I guess he's been hurt a lot, but it was less than I was expecting.
Yeah, that's not a super big deal for Eckler.
Uh-oh.
Also, the Commanders, dude, I would not. If I was an NFL running back, I would not sign that deal to go to the Commanders.
No way.
So many other landing spots. I don't get that. And then mixing on the Texans.
The Texans, they've made some good moves. I think this is one of them. Yeah. So, and then, well, I was about to say the Titans. I'm interested with what they're doing right now, but we should probably just jump ahead and go to receivers before we talk about them because we'll have more thoughts.
Right. So we got Jerry Jeudy to the Browns. The Broncos get a 2024 5th and 6th round pick. Tyler Lockett staying in Seattle. Michael Pittman staying with the Colts. Deontay Johnson is traded for Dante Jackson.
That's a confusing one.
Yeah, I had to look at that twice. Carolina gets the 240th pick, and Pittsburgh gets the 178th pick. Mike Williams was just released by the Chargers. They do save $20 million in cap space. Hunter Renfrow got released. That's surprising to me. And then Calvin Ridley, this is a new one, to the Titans, 4 years, $92 million with $50 guaranteed. Big deal.
That's why I wanted to wait because that one's huge. First of all, because that one came in pretty recently. We're recording this on Wednesday night. Yeah, right before. And so right before that came in, he was the top of my list of remaining free agencies. And I'm curious to see where they land. They're clearly making a move in the passing game. It started with the coach hire. I think even the Tony Pollard pick makes a little bit of sense when you compare him and Tajay Spears. They're both pretty good receiving backs.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting a huge receiver. Still got Nuke Hopkins, right? Then you're getting the Mason Rudolph. I guess you're just getting another backup to fill in behind Will Levis, or do you get him to start, or do you compete?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Might be a competition because Mason Rudolph played decent this year too. I mean, probably on par with Will Levis.
Yeah.
I don't know. And he's got more experience for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That definitely does seem like they're making a move in the passing game though. And Calvin Ridley's good.
Yeah, he's good.
Quick. You got the quick cuts guy, and then you got the deep ball guy with
and the hands guy.
Hopkins. Yeah, hands guy. Good situation for quarterback now, I'd say. Whoever the starting quarterback might be, they got some people to throw to.
It'll be interesting to see where Mike Williams goes. I feel like this is going to be one that the Panthers just spend a bunch of money to get. I don't know. I had the thought. I was like, I could see it.
I could see that, and I wouldn't hate that because the Panthers have to get somebody. They have to.
Going after Deontay Johnson, you're giving up Dante Jackson, which it's interesting. I was kind of excited for him. I liked that Canales was keeping the DC. It seemed like they were keeping some of the defense intact. We'll get to it in a minute. But Brian Burns goes, you're losing Dante Jackson. It's like all of a sudden these big pieces of your defense are going now. And then, I don't know, Deontay, okay, it's hard to really compare a Pittsburgh receiver because they had Kenny Pickett and, I mean, they
That's
didn't
also
have the
just
best
a terrible name for a quarterback.
Yeah, Kenny Pickett. Just throw it up, Pickett.
Right.
At least it wasn't Kenny Pickett. Kenny's close enough, though.
Dude, Pittsburgh's kicker, like when he was in college, also had a ridiculous name.
Shank it?
It was something on those lines, man. It was really close. I think it was Blewett. I'm pretty sure his name was Blewett. His quarterback was Pickett, and the kicker was Blewett.
You got the game winner. You blew it.
Yeah, dude, it was Blewitt
That's wild.
on the same team. Yeah, it was crazy.
That's crazy. Worth noting before we move on to offensive line, the bridge between a wide receiver and an offensive lineman, we have one tight end move. You deserve to say this one.
Jonnu Smith to the Dolphins, 2-year, $10 million deal.
You feel good about that one as a Dolphins fan?
Yeah, I like the move. And what I think is happening right now, they're getting him for a couple years. I want them to get Brock Bowers in the draft.
Ooh, you think they can? What pick do they have?
It's like late teens, early 20s. I think
he's
it's possible.
Gonna be top 10.
Maybe. I've seen multiple mock drafts with him going to the Dolphins.
Interesting.
I don't know if he hangs around. I would love for the Dolphins to get him. But I do love this pick because the Dolphins don't throw to a tight end very often. Like last year, past couple years, they did maybe 2 years ago with Gesicki. But last year they were kind of lacking that. So I'm excited to have a decent tight end that hopefully can get involved a lot more.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
All right, big boys. Robert Hunt goes to the Panthers. They pick him up for 5 years, $100 million. Sorry, Dolphins. Landon Dickerson got his extension, 4 years, $21 million per year. Then Deion Dawkins also got an extension. David Bakhtiari, not super shocking, but was released. Then Lloyd Cushenberry to the Titans, and then Morgan Moses was traded from the Ravens to the Jets. The Ravens receive the Jets' 4th round pick and 6th round pick in exchange for their 4th round pick, which was worse than the Jets one. So that's what's happening there. Any thoughts?
Hate that Robert Hunt left the Dolphins. It's all right though. David Bakhtiari used to be a beast.
I know. I think it's just the injuries, and
Yeah, I know.
I feel like it's so much harder for a tackle or any lineman to come back from injuries at that point.
Right. Yeah, it sucks. Landon Dickerson is a huge re-sign for the Eagles, especially after losing Kelsey.
I saw a quote where he was saying that people were asking him what he's going to do with the money. He's like, I think I might go get me a new lawnmower.
You gotta love O linemen,
Dude,
dude.
you
They're
gotta
always
love him.
always just seem down to earth,
Oh,
wanting to
well,
do dad stuff,
dad
to cut the
stuff.
grass.
Cut the grass. Let's go to the other side of it, though, the D line. I'll let you kick it off because the Dolphins are back at it.
So a player that I've enjoyed pulling for, he's done well, but I don't hate that I don't have to pull for him anymore because he went to Clemson. Christian Wilkins is now a Raider. It does hurt because he played really well for the Dolphins, but again, I don't have to pull for a Clemson player anymore.
And they paid him a lot of money. So,
Yeah, I can't blame him. 4-year, $110 million deal. You got Brian Burns to the Giants, which we talked about from the Panthers. Get into that in a second. Justin Matabuke stays in Baltimore on a 4-year deal. Chris Jones stays in Kansas City, which is huge for them. Jonathan Grenard to the Vikings. Leonard Williams to Seattle. Danielle Hunter.
Danielle.
Great name, by the way.
Danielle. Y'all keep doing this to me. I draft him. You call him Danielle.
Danielle Hunter because he's on Joe's team. Oh, I love how you put in Danielle in there on purpose. His name's Danielle, bro. To the Texans. Honestly, another great pickup by the Texans. And then Malik Collins to the 49ers. How do you feel about that one?
The 49ers were struggling short run game, and having a big boy up the middle could be great. So I like that one. You're giving up a 7th rounder. Not too big of a deal unless you're going to land another Brock Purdy. Then, I feel like key re-signings happened here for the most part with Matabike and Jones, and I guess that's pretty much it because Brian Burns got the Panthers in 2022 before the trade deadline. So when the sale happens, you get rid of Christian McCaffrey. A little bit later, they get offered allegedly 2 first-round picks and a 2nd rounder for Brian Burns from the Los Angeles Rams. A short year and a half later, they managed to get a 2nd and a 5th round pick. So just exchanged the 2 first rounds for a 5th round pick.
And the Bears already have your first round pick for this year. Oh, dude. The Panthers are just a mess, man. What are they doing? Who's running this operation that's doing so poorly?
Sell the team, brother.
Sell the team, David Tepper.
It's just great. I mean, he got paid. Like, I understand not being able to pay him $150 million for 5 years. I get that. But why can't you get anything for him?
They just give people away. McCaffrey, Burns. Burns will probably go to the Giants and just be unbelievable. I mean, he was really good at the Panthers too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the one good thing they had from last year was their defense, which that's what I liked about Canales. He was like, look, that's great. I was really excited. One of the reasons I was excited to come to Carolina was because the defense was in good shape. We could just rebuild the offense, focus on that. And then all of a sudden you're getting rid of key pieces of the defense. So without much in return.
I wish that GMs and owners had to have press conferences like coaches do and just be like, what are you doing?
I know.
What's your plan here?
Yeah. What did you see in this opportunity? It was crazy.
Yeah, why? You woke up today and just decided that you were going to give Brian Burns away for a 2nd and a 5th round pick.
Dude, it's nuts. Well, other than that, let's go. I'm going to combine linebackers and DBs. Jordan Brooks to the Dolphins. That was a big pickup. Let's see. I'm going to skim some of these. Levante David got a 1-year extension. Kenneth Murray to the Titans. Kevin Byard went to the Bears, which he's on a 2-year deal of $15 million. I still think he's a really good safety. That could be nice to an already good defense because they also re-signed and extended Jalen Johnson. So it seems like the Bears are on the right track right now. Jordan Poyer to the Dolphins. That was another big one that y'all got. And then obviously we mentioned earlier, but the Dante Johnson, Deontay. I can't do this one. Deontay Jackson for Deontay Johnson trade.
Right. That was big. I'm excited about the Jordan Poyer one. I love going from the Bills to the Dolphins. That's interesting. Kind of adds a little bit to the rivalry there. And we could use definitely need a safety right now.
Dude, I love a good division trade or signing afterwards. I think that's fun. And we're seeing a lot of them right now.
Oh, yeah.
So what's standing out here is the Bears, because I think they're making good moves. They already had a good defense. They're doing this again now. Also, there's nothing with Justin Fields yet. And everyone's talking about how that means the Bears are messing up. They haven't traded him yet because everyone's under the assumption that Justin Fields is getting traded, which we've said is the wrong move. I would be starting to get optimistic if I was a Chicago fan that maybe they're holding on to him. They're building the rest of the pieces. And are they trying to trade? I don't know, like give New England the number 1 pick, move back to 3 and pick up like a second rounder with it too. And you get Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah. I love that if the Bears do that. Love it.
It's interesting.
Again, I just think Justin Fields to Caleb Williams is like a pretty probably lateral move.
It's interesting. People, what I'm seeing right now is they're like, oh, I guess that means that because the market for Fields is disappearing now, so clearly they're just going to let him be content with him being a second string quarterback going into next year. I was like, there's still the possibility you get rid of number 1.
Yeah. I think so too. Yeah, I would love that.
Anyway, we mentioned Calvin Ridley was one of the top free agents that just landed. There are also a couple South Carolina boys on this list. We got Jadeveon Clowney. So Sports Illustrated put out the top 10 remaining free agents, and Stephon Gilmore is at 6 and Jadeveon Clowney's at 10, which doing them proud.
Yeah, those boys, they're still balling. Dude,
balling.
Jadeveon looked renewed last year on the Ravens. I really hope he just goes back there because it looked like he fit in really well with that defense. Hope he can get it worked out with them. If not, I would love to have him down in Miami.
Wouldn't hate him in San Fran.
Even go to the Panthers, dude. They need something.
Yeah.
Gilmore, I wonder how much longer he's going to be.
Dude, he was a huge part of the Dallas secondary this year.
Yeah, so. I know. It's crazy that he's still going
I know.
as a top cornerback.
I thought he was done when he went to Carolina pretty much, but no.
Well, he didn't do a whole lot there, unfortunately, because Carolina just as a whole.
It's terrible.
And we're talking about the Panthers, not South Carolina.
He did a whole lot of South Carolina.
Stephon and Jadeveon are both the same high school.
They played together along with Devontae Holloman.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane.
Yeah, we should have led with, instead of South Carolina boys, South Point boys on the list. That's crazy. Of the Sports Illustrated top 10 remaining free agents, there are 2 on the same high school football team.
That is wild. You got Mike Williams there too.
Yeah, that'll be.
Don't want to shout out the other team in the state, but also a pretty big free agent. So,
and Tyron Smith, that's another one. If anyone needs a left tackle, that'll be interesting to see where he lands. There are definitely a few receivers still remaining, which will be interesting.
Yeah, Mike Williams definitely the top of that.
I agree. I like the way that he plays. Well, who are your biggest winner? Or let's do one biggest winner as a team and one biggest loser as a team from this.
Biggest loser, easy Panthers.
Let's do 2 of each one. So Panthers is one of them. Who else do you have as one of the biggest losers?
I got to go Broncos. Broncos getting rid of Judy, getting rid of Russell Wilson. Yeah. Tough move. They're just throwing away money, it seems like. Yeah, Panthers and Broncos, that's my 2 losers.
Bills are also could be. I mean, they got the Bills re-signed Deion Dawkins, which was huge, but they're also losing pieces of their defense, and they haven't really bought any. So I don't know if I would say they're a loser compared to Denver or Carolina. I think I would agree with you on both of those, but that's just like a little bit concerning to me. I think a winner to me, the Texans are looking really good. I think the Joe Mixon one looks great. I think they haven't spent too much money. Danielle Hunter, that was a big pickup. Danielle Hunter, that was a big pickup. Get a good edge there, a top tier edge.
Yeah. I would say the Ravens as well, winner with Derrick Henry, but we didn't talk about this one. Patrick Queen.
Oh, I don't know.
Where did he sign?
Pittsburgh, which Pittsburgh is one of the winners, I think. I think mine are Pittsburgh and the Texans.
Yeah. Patrick Queen's a huge signing for them, and it's a tough loss for the Ravens. He was a big part of that defense last year.
I think that Pittsburgh's looking good. You're getting Russell Wilson for $1.5 million, which is a huge improvement. I think Dante Jackson's really good. I've loved watching him as a quarter. I think he's a great cornerback. You're adding some pieces. Defense is looking even better. Imagine them with TJ Watt, all those people on the same team.
Yeah, man. Dante Action Jackson. That's a great name. Yeah, dude, that division next year.
It was already nasty this year, and they're all strengthening for the most part.
The Steelers were the weak team in the division this past year. That's got to be the toughest division of football right now.
You remember it was the only modern era division to all finish above 500.
Right. Yeah, they were all dangerous. Well, and Pittsburgh wasn't. I was really scared of Pittsburgh, but they were still winning games. So,
and now I really do think that Russell Wilson is enough of an improvement over what they had.
Dude,
Plus,
I
there's
think
a run
Russell
game.
Wilson is going to, I'm not going to say like take the league by storm or anything crazy. He might crack the top 15 next year in quarterback play.
Dude, he very well might.
I think I just don't think the situation in Broncos country was right for him.
Yeah, that's true.
Pittsburgh Steelers, let's steal.
Yeah, it's been an exciting free agency. Those are our winners and losers so far, but I'm sure by the time this episode's even out, there's going to be more stuff going on. But before we wrap it up, we've got another draft. We are doing receivers. Instead of going by decade, though, we're doing all time, starting 5 for our dream team. I get the first pick. And so with the first pick of the receiver draft, give me Jerry Rice.
Wow. Had no clue. Yeah, that's a clear
That was
cut.
an easy first pick for me there.
Yeah, man, that's a clear cut number 1 for sure. Couldn't go with anybody else other than you might have been able to go with Randy Moss, just based on straight talent.
I've seen some lists that have him at like 6 or 7. I'm like, that's crazy.
Randy?
Yeah.
I don't understand that because he's number 4 all time in yards, number 2 in touchdowns, and in talent might be number 1.
For the list, I made a ranking of receivers that I would like to have, and I had him number 2. So there's that. Anyway,
Yeah,
who you got with
number-
your second pick?
I didn't even announce whether I was picking Randy Moss. And I am picking Randy Moss. Literally, the term "mossed" was coined because of him.
Mossed on.
You got mossed. Like, come on. All right, number 2, I got T.O. Terrell Owens. Number 3 all time in yards. Number 3 all time in
Your heart.
receiving touchdowns.
I love this. You left me 2 of my personal favorite receivers ever. And so with my second pick, doesn't really matter the order, but second, I'm going to go Larry Fitz. Second all-time in yards. I just feel like he's great for the team vibes. Obviously, want to have him on the team. Then this one might get some pushback, but I'm going off of who I want on my team, and I want Megatron. So give me Calvin Johnson as my big body receiver out there.
Yep, that's a good pick. People might push back on that. And I wouldn't push back on that because I had him at number 4.
Totally
I was
agree.
going to take number 4. But people might just because he played a short career.
Yep.
Same thing with Barry Sanders on the Lions.
But I mean, if you have a dream team, I'm like, you have him as one of 5 receivers out there with his 50-inch vert.
Yeah, dude is an absolute monster. He had, I wish I remember these stats off the top of my head. One of his best seasons ever was with Dan Orlovsky at quarterback, and the Lions won 0 games. So, something to be said there. Let's see. Tough decisions here. Number 3 for me, I got Marvin Harrison Sr. Beast with the Colts.
Dude, our lists are very similar.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Makes sense because we're right. We knows. We hadn't said that.
Who knows?
We knows. All right. Marvin Harrison Sr. He was an absolute beast with the Colts. And then my number 4 pick, I got Chris Carter, also an absolute stud. Who did I leave you with that you wanted?
I'm just laughing because I've listed my top 7 receivers, and
Yeah.
all 7 picked were the top 7 that I had.
Let's go.
Chris Carter was next on my list.
Yep.
This is actually really wild.
Who you got?
I really don't know.
Very
Dude.
subjective list. And I know nobody's going to argue about who we put on these lists. They can't happen. Since we were in agreement on our first few, there's no way anybody argues about it, right?
No way. No way at all.
Yeah.
Even though we were on agreement that I might have had a slight edge on the running back draft, and every single person on TikTok, is the only draft that's been unanimous in the comments, has said that you won it.
I don't remember saying that yours was better.
Don't make me pull what I used to do against Christian from the tape.
You should pull it up because I don't know.
All right.
I did say that.
I got 4 and 5, picks 4 and 5 here, which is tricky because I didn't think I was going to get down here on my list, but we wanted all the same receivers, which is wild because I feel like this is a subjective draft of who are your dream receivers. And, it's tough. But for that reason, the 2 people I'm going to do are probably people would think are reaches, but I think they're nasty receivers and I want them on my team. And so since this is my dream team, I'm doing that. Pick 4, I'm going to go Julio Jones. Followed him from high school on my Sports Illustrated for Kids all the way through Alabama. Nasty receiver. I think talent-wise, you got to have him on your team. And then 5 is my personal favorite receiver, a heart guy, plus the celebrations that he's going to bring to our team in combination with T.O. are going to be off the charts. And I'm going Steve Smith Sr. in slot number 5.
Love the Steve Smith Sr. pick. Dude has the heart. It's like drafting Rocky to your team. And yeah.
Can we?
Hype guy. Well, if you had Terrell Owens, he could have the combo celebrations. It's a shame they're on different teams. Because I have Terrell Owens. But
dang.
That's okay.
I needed to balance you having Terrell Owens with a celebration guy myself. So for that reason, Steve Smith.
Yeah, good pick overall. And Julio is also a good pick. If you're making a true, maybe not like, greatest of all time conversation, but a true like dream team, like somebody that's going to go out there and catch the ball, Julio's got to be up there. Mm-hmm. So that's my argument for Julio.
I appreciate that.
For my number 5 pick, and I love this because I made a list of 8 players, and I didn't have to go past that. My number 8 person on here was Isaac Bruce from The Greatest Show on Turf, one of the best offenses of all time, the leading receiver on that team. You also had Torrey Holt. I think Isaac Bruce was maybe just a step above. So great receiver, number 5 all time in yards, number 15 in TDs. Electric offense.
Torrey Holt was on my list of people that I almost went for.
Dude, Torrey Holt I actually liked Torrey Holt more, I think, as a kid because I saw a video somewhere of him teaching you how to like toe tap on the sideline. And I just thought that was like the coolest thing ever. I was like, I'm going to toe tap like Torrey Holt. And so after that, I just watched all of his stuff. But
dude, I
good
love
list
that.
overall. Who's read
good
yours
list.
out?
So I've got Jerry Rice, Calvin Johnson, Larry Fitzgerald, Julio Jones, and Steve Smith Sr.
All right, I got Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, Marvin Harrison Sr., Chris Carter, and Isaac Bruce. What are we thinking? What are our thoughts? I'll say off of pure talent and like pure dream team ability, they're close, but I think I think you, because Megatron, Julio Jones, and Jerry Rice are all obviously ultra talented. I think if you're it is close though, because Randy Moss and T.O. are straight beasts as well. Randy Moss is probably the most talented wide receiver in history of the NFL.
Probably. Great celebrator too.
Based on all-time stats and like all-time greatness, I think my list edges out.
I agree with that.
Although you do have
I do have Jerry Rice.
So that's hard to argue with. But the other ones are, I think, a step below on that scale. So I'll be interested to see what people think about it. Because I think if you're thinking maybe all-time greats, you go mine. If you're thinking, straight physical specimens, you probably go with yours.
I just can't believe how in line ours were for up until the end. And sorry for Steelers fans, I didn't go Hines Ward. Sorry, Cowboys fans, I didn't go Michael Irving. I'm not a Cowboys fan and I'm not a Steelers fan. Simple as.
Yeah, those are reasonable to leave out of your top 10, I think.
Sterling Sharp would have been a nice one. Andre Johnson, love watching him. We can't go with Texas.
Yeah, he just didn't play that long, which is the problem. If he played like a little bit longer, I think he's no doubt top 10. Fun to see. Excited to see what people think about this one.
Excited. So, hopefully it's a little bit more balanced than last time. It's crazy.
Wide receiver draft was actually harder than I thought it was going to be.
I know, because there's so many people that I think just grew up loving. Like we grew up in the wide receiver era.
Yeah. And there's so many just absolute beasts out there that just didn't play that long, like Calvin Johnson. So,
yeah, that's why I was like, I have to go talent wise and just like beast. Because imagine trying to cover Julio Jones, Calvin Johnson, Jerry Rice, Steve Smith, and Larry Fitzgerald on the same team.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going talent wise on a team like that, you might want to throw Tyreek in there too.
That's true. Get the speed.
Somebody fast, super fast, but I mean, he's obviously not making the top 10 all time, but
that's true.
Anyhow.
Thanks for listening, though. That was episode 63. We'll be back next week with more.
Good stuff.
Peace.